There's a fear most people feel but never say out loud. It's not the fear of failing. It's not even the fear of rejection. It's something quieter and far more haunting. The fear of waking up one day, looking in the mirror and realizing you've become ordinary, not a failure, not a disaster, just average. A life that blends into the background, a story that never really began. Picture a busy city street, thousands of people moving. But how many are actually going somewhere new? Most are walking in silent, invisible circle. Wake up, work, scroll, sleep, repeat. The routine becomes so familiar it feels like safety. But sometimes, in a quiet moment, a question rises to the surface. Is this really it? One day of putting things off. 1 week of choosing the easier path. 1 year of opting for comfort over curiosity. Individually, these choices seem harmless. They don't break it with one mighty blow. They chip away. It's that so many never pick up the chisel at all. Why does the idea of being average disturb us so deeply? Because somewhere inside, we know we are capable of more. Not of being perfect, not of being the best in the world, but more than this. And that knowing creates a tension. If you know you could do more, but you choose not to, then the responsibility lands squarely on you. Not on bad luck, not on the world being unfair, on you. That truth is incredibly uncomfortable to sit with. Look at any athlete, any artist, anyone who has mastered something. No one sees the empty gym at dawn. No one applauds the 1000th repetition of a boring drill. But inside that repetition, magic happened. Excellence is never built in moments of inspiration. It's built in moments of discipline when no one is watching. Focus, consistency, effort, patience. These aren't glamorous words, but they are the unshakable foundation of every remarkable life. Think of a river carving a canyon. The water isn't powerful because of a single flood. It's powerful because it never, ever stops moving. Year after year, century after century, eventually, the stone gives way. That relentless flow reshapes landscapes, and it can reshape a life, too. So the real question isn't whether you fear being average. Most thinking people do. The real question is what you will do with that fear. Will you let it paralyze you, or will you let it propel you? Because time only moves in one direction. The life you have tomorrow is being built by the choices you make today. Another dangerous thing about mediocrity is that it doesn't feel like failure while it's happening. Failure jolts you awake. It forces a reckoning. Mediocrity is gentler. It feels like warm water slowly rising around your ankles. Not hot enough to make you jump out. Not cold enough to startle you. Just comfortable. You stand there until you finally look down and realize the water has been rising for years. It's like a sword left to rust. Leave it untouched for a day and nothing changes. Leave it for a year and the edge dulls. The strength weakens. The shine fades. Not because it was attacked, but because it was neglected. Your potential behaves the exact same way. Skills weaken when they're not used. Ambition fades when it's not fed. The fire in your mind dims, not because you never had it, but because you stopped adding fuel. We also fall into a psychological trap: comparison. Not the kind that motivates, but the kind that numbs. You look around and think, well, everyone else is just scrolling, just drifting, just getting by. And suddenly, average starts to feel not just normal, but acceptable. But here's a hard truth. Just because something is common doesn't make it harmless. Gravity is common. But if you step off a cliff, it will still pull you down. Following the crowd might feel safe, but it will never lead you anywhere remarkable. Imagine two people at the edge of a vast forest. One decides to stay near the entrance. It's safe, familiar, comfortable. The other steps into the unknown. The path is rough, unclear, challenging. Years later, the first person knows the entrance perfectly. The second has discovered hidden rivers, climbed mountains, and mapped new trails. Both survive. They obsess over improvement. One skill, one habit, one day at a time. They build like engineers constructing a bridge, piece by piece, bolt by bolt. From a distance, people only see the finished structure, but the builders remember every single beam that had to be placed before it could stand. And this is crucial. Escaping mediocrity doesn't demand you become the best in the world. It only asks that you become better than you were yesterday. That's it. Progress compounds. A 1% improvement, repeated consistently, becomes something massive over time. It's like interest in a bank account, but the currency you're investing is effort, and the dividend is transformation. Think of a blacksmith at the forge. The steel goes into the fire, soft and unformed. The hammer falls, again and again. At first, nothing seems to change, but slowly, a shape emerges. Strength is born from pressure. Precision is born from repetition. Without the heat and the strike, the metal remains useless. Your struggles serve the same purpose. They shape you, but only if you allow them to. It's a deep unsense that you were meant to build something, to contribute something, to live a life with purpose and direction. And the true terror is the thought of never discovering what that could have been. Not the fear of falling, but the fear of never climbing high enough to see the view. Mediocrity is not decided by talent, it's decided by choices. Small, daily, invisible choices. The choice to learn for 10 minutes instead of scrolling. The choice to begin a difficult project instead of delaying it. The choice to have a hard conversation instead of avoiding it. These choices, stacked together, slowly separate two destinies. A life that drifts quietly with the current and a life that cuts a new channel. Society often gets this wrong. We're taught the opposite of extraordinary is failure. The real opposite of extraordinary is stagnation. When nothing moves, when nothing grows, when your days become identical pages in a book no one will ever read. And stagnation loves to dress up as stability. You tell yourself you're fine, you're not struggling, but you're not evolving either. And without evolution, there is a quiet decay. Think of an untended garden. The plants don't die overnight. For a while, it still looks alive. But slowly, weeds choke the flowers. The soil hardens. Life doesn't disappear. It's simply overtaken by whatever grows wild. A life without deliberate effort works the same way. If you don't plant discipline, distraction will grow. If you don't cultivate purpose, apathy will take root. Nature always fills empty space. If you don't design your life with intention, the world will design it for you by default. We also cling to the illusion of later. Later, I'll start. Later, I'll change. But time is a trickster. Days feel long, yet years vanish. Watching the sun, it seems to stand still. But look away for an hour and the entire sky has changed. Your life moves the same way. The future you imagine is quietly built, brick, by the present you live. But thousands of bricks, placed with intention, can build a cathedral. The architecture of your future is built with these daily decisions. It requires awareness. Awareness of how you spend your hours. Awareness of what your routines are actually building. Awareness of the gap between your daily actions and your deepest ambitions. This awareness is the first and most important step. It turns unconscious living into intentional living. And the moment you begin living intentionally, your trajectory changes. It might be a tiny shift at first, just 1 degree. But a ship that changes its course by 1 degree ends up at an entirely different continent. Your life follows the same law. Small corrections, made consistently, overcome massive drift. The fear of being average doesn't have to be a weight you carry. It can be a compass. As long as you are willing to move, even slowly, your path is still unfolding. The life you will have in 5 years is being shaped right now by the choices you make in these quiet, ordinary moments. So pick up the chisel, start shaping the stone. The masterpiece is waiting within the rock.